Like and subscribe right now, or you're gonna have terrible luck for the next week. Dinosaurs could easily pass as the most formidable predators to ever roam the planet. Most of them were way bigger than a good deal of flesh-eating animals today. While all of these prehistoric giants were dangerous, a few among them were even more ferocious. It's probably a good thing that they're now extinct. Most people know the T-Rex, but there are quite a number of these big guys that you would be thankful you'll never have to meet. Buckle up for the 10 most dangerous dinosaurs in the world. Number 10. Velociraptor. This is one dinosaur you're familiar with if you've watched Jurassic Park. But unfortunately, some facts about this prehistoric carnivore aren't accurate. Like, for instance, it wasn't as fast as it was portrayed. Yes, their name translates to Swift Caesar, but let's just say they were a bit slower in Mongolia and China, where they lived about 75 to 71 million years ago. It was also much smaller in real life than it was in the movie. On average, a velociraptor weighed a mere 15 kilograms and was about 2 meters long. So why is it dangerous? For one, it was pretty fast. Well, not as fast as portrayed in Jurassic Park, but it could still ramp up impressive speeds to catch prey. Also, while it isn't conclusive yet, velociraptors were thought to hunt in packs, which gave them an advantage over the size of the prey they could catch. But perhaps the proof of these dinosaurs' ferocity was their signature giant hook-like claw on their second toe on their hind feet. This was basically their tool of trade when they were out there hunting. With the massive talon, they attacked and tightly grasped prey before devouring it. Number 9. Mapusaurus. This giant dinosaur wasn't only scary because of its size. It was also a daring hunter that went after some of the equally largest dinosaurs of the time, like the Argentinosaurus, that averaged lengths of up to 35 meters and could weigh a staggering 100 tons. Mapusaurus, on its part, had lengths of between 10 and 13 meters and an average mass of 3 tons. So how then did it manage to take large prey several times its size? Fossil remains shed some light on this. After a close analysis of a heap of bones belonging to these hunters, paleontologists discovered that the bones were of 7 different Mapusaurus, and that pointed to a possible social existence among these massive carnivorous dinosaurs. So they most probably hunted in packs, and thus were able to go after larger and more formidable prey. But that pack certainly wouldn't have done much with the right tools of trade. On this front, Mapusaurus had narrow blade-like teeth that could slice through flesh with considerable ease. Number 8. Majungasaurus. Majungasaurus ruled the lands in present-day Madagascar from 70 to 60 million years ago. Here, it rained terror, not just to other animals, but also to its own kind as well. Several fossils of Majungasaurus have been found with bites that align with the dinosaur's teeth patterns, which means that these beasts occasionally turned on their own kind for food. With that conclusion, Majungasaurus is among the few cannibalistic dinosaurs to ever exist. But whether they actively hunted each other isn't yet clear. For all we know, they could have just fed on each other's carcasses. But for regular meals, these dinosaurs fed on sauropods that occupied the same ecological system. Also, the Majungasaurus occupied the top position in the food chain, as it had no predators, although it wasn't among the largest inhabitants of Madagascar during that period. On average, it had a head-to-tail length of between 6 and 7 meters and could weigh as much as a ton. A unique feature among these predators was a stout snout that could have played an important role in their hunting escapade. It enabled them to bite and hold down prey, a tactic similar to today's big cats. Number 7. Spinosaurus. Most dinosaurs in this video were large, but nothing comes close to the mighty Spinosaurus. To this day, it remains one of the largest carnivorous dinosaurs to ever exist. There have been varied estimations concerning its weight and length, but most put the maximum length at 16 meters and the weight at 20 tons. Aside from size, the Spinosaurus is also known for its sail-like protrusion on its back, whose precise use has never been agreed on. Lots of theories have come up over the years, but thermoregulation and display are the most agreed on uses. The Spinosaurus is said to have hunted both aquatic and terrestrial animals since it had a semi-aquatic lifestyle like present-day crocodiles. Some of the animals it feasted on include turtles, fish, lizards, and other dinosaurs. While its remains had been discovered much earlier, they were later destroyed in the Second World War. This effectively grounded any studies of this extinct predator until recently when more remains were unearthed. Number 6. Ankylosaurus. The Ankylosaurus lived in present-day North America and went extinct 68 to 66 million years ago. It was a fairly huge animal with a length of up to 8 meters and an accompanying weight of 8 tons. Of course, there were smaller samples, but the length and weight wouldn't go below 6 meters and 5 tons respectively. Much to the relief of other terrestrial animals at that time, the Ankylosaurus wasn't a flesh eater, but rather an indiscriminate browser feeding on all kinds of vegetation. But it wasn't one to be messed with. It was covered in osteoderms, also called armor plates, which meant that any would-be predator had to be prepared. And if that wasn't a good enough deterrent, the Ankylosaurus had another, more lethal defense: a club at the end of its tail. Considering its massive size and the fact that it was armored, the tail was a pretty heavy accessory, and a single swing would have spelled doom for any attacker. But the tail could have served more than a single purpose. It could have also been used in intraspecific combat, where the dinosaurs fought each other over mating rights and grazing territories. Number 5. Giganotosaurus. It's a known fact. Dinosaurs were generally large, beastly creatures, but among them, there were individual-sized contenders, and Giganotosaurus was one such candidate. Although its exact size has been difficult to determine, it ranks among the largest dinosaurs to ever be discovered. The estimates vary widely, with most ranging between 12 and 13 meters in length and weights of between 4 and 15 tons. As a hunter, the Giganotosaurus had large and powerful legs that made it a force to be reckoned with in terms of speed. In addition to that, it had a thin, pointed tail that provided balance at flight. This served it pretty well in case of quick maneuvers, but this tail had limits as far as maintaining balance was concerned. According to a model, this dinosaur would have toppled over at speeds above 50 kilometers per hour. Nevertheless, it was still faster than the famous T-Rex. Number 4. Allosaurus. The Allosaurus was around during the late Jurassic period, which is about 115 to 145 million years ago. As per fossil records, it lived around the Morrison Formation in the western United States, a sedimentary rock popular for dinosaur remains. During that time, the Allosaurus was the most formidable predator equipped with sharp, serrated teeth for tearing flesh. It was also huge, with most specimens averaging close to 10 meters in length and weights of slightly over 2 tons. Just to show how ferocious hunters they were, Allosaurus went for other dinosaur species: sauropods, stegosauria, and ornithopods. This has been proven, with Allosaurus bite marks on the fossils of these extinct reptiles. But it's not yet clear whether these beasts hunted in packs or not. It is still under contention, with two groups of paleontologists having contrasting stances. On one side, some paleontologists believe Allosaurus exhibited social behavior and hunted as a group. On the other hand, there are those who believe that the coming together of these dinosaurs was only as a result of scavenging on the same carcass. Otherwise, the apex predators rolled solo and might have even been aggressive towards each other. Number 3. Carcharodontosaurus. The Carcharodontosaurus were some of the biggest carnivorous dinosaurs, but the specific lengths and weights varied considerably from one species to another. For instance, some were as much as 13 meters in length and 15 tons in weight. Smaller ones were about 11 meters and weighed 5 tons. As carnivores, they were well endowed in the right places to take down prey. And what better place to be endowed than biting hearts? Carcharodontosaurus had massive jaws and long serrated teeth for when they needed to hunt and chop down on their victims. Both the teeth and jaws were so strong that a study conducted at the Royal Tyrrell Museum proposed that one of these gigantic reptiles could lift more than 400 kilograms using its mouth.
Now it's time for today's best pick.
Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in a future video. Number 2. Tyrannosaurus Rex. So here are two dinosaurs locked in a fight with clearly one of them having an upper hand. It's hard to give a name to each, but we at least know about one of the most vicious hunter dinosaurs to ever roam the earth, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, or more popularly, T-Rex. This is without a doubt the most popular dinosaur around the world, a fame that is just in line with its massive size. It rose to about 5 meters tall, had a length of 12 meters, and could weigh as much as 8 tons. Even at that time, that was one hell of bone and flesh to deal with. It was pretty much the king of the jungle, so to speak. This is well reflected in its name, which translates to Tyrant Lizard King. In addition to the intimidating size, the T-Rex had other tools in its hunting box. First, there was its sense of smell that was so developed that the dinosaur could sniff out prey over long distances, as well as pinpoint carcass locations for scavenging. But perhaps its most lethal tool was its biting force, that remains the strongest of any land animal. According to Business Insider, the T-Rex could chomp down with a force of 64,000 newtons, which is nearly 4 times the biting force of saltwater crocodiles, the modern-day bite force champions.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works.
Number 1. Troodon. Well, Troodons weren't as big as most of the other dinosaurs in this video. Standing at heights of slightly over a meter and weighing a mere 40 kilograms, they're the second smallest dinosaurs after the Velociraptors. But they had a whole lot of other qualities that well compensated for their lack of size. For starters, reconstructions show that these guys had a brain larger than their relative size as compared to other dinosaurs of the same period. That means they had considerable smarts, something that could have definitely boosted their hunting strategies. Additionally, their rather small size meant they were pretty agile when it came to chasing down prey. They primarily fed on invertebrates, small lizards, and a host of mammals that were present at the time. Finally, Troodons had some of the biggest eyes, and with them, sharp vision. Again, this gave them an edge when it came to hunting, at any time of the day, including the night. The first remains of the Troodon were first discovered in 1855 in the North American continent, but it wasn't classified as a dinosaur until about 2 decades later. The initial assumption was that it was a lizard. Since then, scientists have uncovered quite a treasure trove about this dinosaur, including its nesting habits and the period in which it was around, about 77 million years ago.